So I think we are good to go. So let me send the right into Telegram channel.
Okay.
And then send quickly to other channels. I hope they are able to join. Okay, still with you. Let me send to the Telegram and the other channels.
All right.
Okay, so we are good. So let's wait for people to come in to join us. I want to know, is my voice echoing at your background?
No, it's not.
Okay. Alright.
Seun Robinson is an award-winning effective communication trainer, speaker, and coach in the personal development niche in Nigeria with over 10 years of experience. She is a professional trainer, public speaker, coach, and mentor who works with professional brands to become profitably visible by leveraging on effective communication strategies and content creation. She has over the years helped personal and professional brands create content for visibility and profiting through her coaching programs. She is an Amazon best-selling author and has received various awards, amongst which are Content Creator of the Year from the Ladies of Honor Initiative and as Coach of the Year from the Iconic Brand Awards 2019. She has also been featured on some magazines and blogs. Seun is a certified teacher and a certified trainer with Junior Chamber International, an associate member of the Nigerian Institute of Training and Development, and is also an associate professional mentor and coach with the Chartered Institute of Corporate Mentoring and Coaching, Nigeria. She is the CEO and lead consultant at Seun Robinson Global Resources Limited, a human capacity development company, and the president of the Own Your Stage Africa Network, where she mentors young ladies in relationship, career, and influence. She is the founder of the Savvy Peak Performance Network, an online community of savvy individuals who take pride in performing at their peak and profiting from it. She coaches and trains in various capacities in different platforms on 3 core areas: effective communication, live video mastery, and content creation for professional, personal, and business brands. Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome Seun Robinson.
right. So Seun, hello Seun, how you doing? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dictor. How are you?
I am perfectly doing fine and well. Please, if you can hear us in the comment section, leave a comment. I can see somebody say, do not loading. Let's know if it's from your end, because from my guest end and from my own end, it's going perfectly well. So let's know if you can hear us clearly. Please leave a comment in the comment section that you can hear us so that we can get started. Okay? Leave a comment in the comment section if you can hear us. Okay, well, okay, we have people who can hear. And so when your bio was read, you heard the bio, right? It was clear.
Yeah, it was. It was clear.
Oh, perfect. So we want to be very sure of what we're doing. Thank you so much. So well, everyone, welcome to day two of the Oyindamola Africa Convention 2020. And of course, you know, our guest today for this particular session is Seun Robinson, my wonderful namesake and an amazing personality. So, guys, if you're looking for a namesake, go and look for a good namesake, just like a namesake, okay? Yeah, we're going to be giving Seun the stage right away so that she can get started. Sorry we started late, but of course, you know that the value that's going to be shared here today is going to be amazing. So, Seun, you
So,
have
how
the
many
stage
do
right
I have, Victor? Since
away. Okay, you
we
have
started?
45 minutes.
All right.
Yeah, so you have the stage right away.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dictor. Thank you so much for having me here. Yeah, and like you said, it's good to have namesake. Wahala for who no get namesake, and not just anyhow namesake for that matter. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Apologies for starting late. Yes, glitches here and there. You know now, technical issues and all that. But we are live now, and we are here. So welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm sure you've had an amazing session all through yesterday, and we are starting again today and taking it a notch higher. Okay. Thank you once again, Dictor Koye, for having me on this platform. I'm sincerely grateful. I do not take it for granted at all. And well done on all you're doing on all fronts. We are seeing you, and of course, I am rooting for you. So we today we are still looking at okay, it's good to know you can hear. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Today we are still looking at negotiating for global dominance. Wow. You know, you see the team and you are like, this is gigantic, this is huge, this is massive, this is big. Yes. But then anyone who knows me or has come across me or gone through any of my trainings knows that I always love to simplify things, right? I always like to bring it, step it down to relatable issues where you can actually begin to feel it, begin to implement, and begin to run with it. I will be talking on the topic, what you said is not what I heard. Yes, what you said is not what I heard. Now, what do I mean? What you said is not what I heard. What you said is not what I heard. Of course, my bio has been read. I'm a communication coach, so what do you expect? I should see or know how to step down negotiating for global dominance using the communication niche. You will agree with me that everything resonates around effective communication. You're a guy, you want to win a girl, you must communicate it well now. You understand? You are a girl, you want a guy to notice you. You don't have to talk. You communicate by proper positioning, right? You communicate by proper positioning. You are a brand, you want to sell out consistently. You have to position your brand aright by ensuring you're speaking the language of your ideal audience. Same thing with negotiating for global dominance. You need to be saying what people want to hear. You need to be speaking global language. You need to be on global, spotlights. You need to position yourself with content, with visibility, communication strategies in such a way that you are spotted, and you don't need to start to say it yourself. People begin to see you as a brand going places. Now, I love to say this, that if you are going to be relevant, if you're going to be globally dominant, then you have to be locally relevant. If you're going to be globally dominant, as you want to dominate globally, then you must be locally relevant. Now, hold it there. When I say locally relevant here, I'm not saying go and tie yourself to one village. I'm not saying go and sit down in one small community. Your locality, where you are right now is where you should be relevant. Ask yourself, all the amazing brands I look up to, all the wonderful brands I like, all the beautiful, excellent global brands that are making sense, both nationally and internationally, do they have any local relevance? Are they relevant locally? I don't need to start mentioning names. You know the names. Just take a minute to think about it. Are they relevant locally? Is that something they are doing in the community? Is that something they are doing for youth? Is that something they are doing for the aged? Is that something they are doing for disadvantaged ones? Is there a unique program they are doing in the way of giving back? Is there a particular signature program they have that has been turning lives around? Are they relevant locally before they got to that global dominance? I bet you 9 over 10 your answer will be yes. So if you are going to negotiate for global dominance, there are certain levels you have to go through. Okay, there are certain levels you have to go through. Now, I work with professional brands, personal and business brands, to help them create content that sells, for online visibility and profiting. And of course, if you're thinking of negotiating for global dominance, you want to be relevant, right? You want to be the go-to authority in your niche. You want to be able to command international recognition. You want to go borderless. And thank God, this era has opened our eyes to the fact that you can be where you are, locally relevant, but still have global dominance. So how do you do it? I'll take you through 6 steps that I think you have to really, really take into cognizance for you to be able to ascend to becoming a globally relevant brand. No non-entity becomes, a global force to be reckoned with. You don't want to be known for the wrong things. You don't want to be in the global spotlight for the wrong things. So you need to settle these phases or levels to ensure that when you get to that peak of global dominance, you don't just drop like a pack of cards. You don't just lose relevance within a very short period of time. You don't come across like a shooting star that just goes and disappears. You want to stay relevant globally for a very, very, very long time to come. All right. But before then, let me ask you, before you start thinking of going global, like I said, you want to be locally relevant, right? Let me ask you, what are your talents? What are your passion? What's your expertise? What's your experience? What skills do you have? What certifications do you have? Basically, let me use the acronym XQs. What exactly is your SQs? Because a lot of persons are like, I have one reason or the other why I'm not, being there. But see, let me tell you, your SQs is exactly the reason you need to build a globally relevant brand. Yes, your XQs. Now, let's break that acronym down. EX there stands for experiences. What experiences do you have that you think you can harness to become a global brand, to tell relatable stories, that people are able to see you and see a picture of themselves, and then they have hope that, oh, if you could dominate, if you could break through those barriers, then they can do it as well, right? So what certifications do you have? You went to school was not for joke. It's not a waste. Your certificate is not a waste. The online certifications you have gathered over time, especially this COVID era, a lot of us gathered so many certifications. Hello, did you just gather them for gathering's sake? Or you're looking forward to using them to build that global brand for global relevance? Right? So what are your experiences? What are your certifications? Now, what unique selling proposition do you have? What makes you distinct? What makes you different? What makes you stand out? What exactly will put you top of the mind of your ideal audience? Because a global brand has a following. A global brand is not a standalone brand. A global brand has a following. It means you have a unique selling proposition that you have sold out consistently over time. You have loyalists to your brand, you have followers, you have fans, you have, clients, customers, you have people who look up to you, people who you mentor, people who are where they are because you exist. So building a global brand is not an overnight thing. But if you don't start, then the journey will never end. Exactly. If you do not start, the journey won't end. So you need to take the first step of the many steps to becoming that brand that can comfortably, confidently, and conveniently negotiate for your position in the global markets of influencers, impact makers, and high income earners. Okay, so we have looked at experiences, certifications, unique selling proposition. Remember, we're breaking down the acronym XQs. Now we have S. What are your skills? What are your what skills? What skills do you have? Soft skills, hard skills? What skills do you have? See, all these things put together make you. And you matter most in the brand you are building. You matter most in the brand you're building. So if you're not clear on what your excuse is, it will be difficult to begin to map out the path to take to becoming a globally relevant brand. Your experiences are important. Your certifications are important. Your unique selling proposition is important. Your skill, very, very important. And then the last E, what experiences have you gathered over time? From when you were born, the different challenges you've gone through, the different hurdles you've crossed, the different platforms you are visible on now. What is your experience put together? Have you tried filling those international scholarship forms and all that, and you see them asking you for link to relevant projects you have carried out, link to your social media pages? Hello, what is that telling you? That there's a series of growth processes, levels and stages that you need to take care of to ensure that there's a steady climb to becoming that globally relevant brand. And all this still boils down to communication. What you are saying or what you think you are saying, is it exactly what the ears of those who matter is hearing? A lot of us are confused brands on the online space, and we are not even able to dominate locally and then want to jump on becoming globally relevant brands. See, your journey is still very far. It's better if you're able to, get the proper structure that you need and stop doing trial and error. So once you have mapped out your experiences, talents, skills, certifications, what have you, over time, then you have a roadmap for yourself. You know that since that has been settled, you're now able to balance and say, okay, so this is where I want to face the communication niche, or this is where I want to face. Let me go with most of my talents. Since I have a talent in public speaking, let me face public speaking. Or you may want to say, I think I have a knack for soft skills. Let me sell that as my brand. It's okay to be multi-talented. It's okay to have different skills, different certifications. It's okay to, have so many of them, but you don't need to be a confused brand. You just want to sit down and ask yourself, what are the first two that I will always go for? What are the others? These other ones, can I delegate it? Can I shelf it? Can I give it out to someone else to manage? Can I get a virtual assistant to take care of this sector for me? Even if you have 20 skills, talents, and experiences and expertise, you want to map it down, break it down, and bring it down to 2 or 3 at most, and then build a relevant brand from that. Now, these are the stages you have to go through. I said I'm going to take us through 6 stages. Once you are clear on the niche you want to focus on the niche you want to face, then you want to move away from the stage where you are simply existing to a stage where you are actually living out your purpose. right? You want to move from the stage where you are simply existing to the place where you're actually living out your purpose. See, don't be like that guy winking in the dark. Nobody will see you. You need to be speaking globally relevant terms. You need to be found on globally relevant platforms. And this starts from you being conscious of who you are, what you want to represent, and then move away from stage one, which is the existing stage. You're simply existing. You want to move away from the existing stage to a stage of awareness where you are now living your purpose. So if you're still a confused brand, then you want to get clear on what exactly you want to do. You want to get clear on your purpose. You want to get clear on the niche to start from. And note this, in building a globally relevant brand, you may not get it at the word go. But whatever you start with, nothing says you can't pivot from there. Nothing says you can't deviate. Nothing says you can't, go into another space entirely. That's where I find that a lot of people are stuck. See, this is like the roadmap I take brands through in my signature program, Own Your Stage, the business of owning your stage. Because I've come to find out from the years of running this program that a lot of persons are always stuck because they think, hey, if I start out as a public speaker, what if tomorrow I find it's not really public speaking I want to do? It's something else entirely. How do I pivot? How do I change? Won't I confuse my audience? And I'm telling you, hello, a globally relevant brand does not necessarily get it at the word go. See, the more you do, action, they say, begets clarity. Action begets clarity. The more you do, the more action you take, the more activities you carry out, the clearer your vision, your mission, your purpose gets. And the narrower you continue to niche. You could have started out on the broad platform called personal development. And then as you go into it, the different areas of personal development, you may realize, wow, I think I love the branding aspect of personal development. Boom, you quietly niche down to branding. So you are doing personal development, but you're not everywhere. You are narrowing down to branding. And then while you're doing the branding over and over again, you may realize, wow, in branding, I think I'm better with content marketing because branding is diverse. You have logo designs, you have color selections, you have platform building, you have audience building in branding, you have content creation, diverse areas. So when you flex your muscle in the branding sphere again, you come to realize, I think I'm better with content creation. Boom, you narrow further into content creation. You are becoming more of a specialist instead of a generalist. Now you're beginning to speak exactly what you want to say, and those who need you are hearing you perfectly. So you don't come off as saying, I'm a personal development coach. And then when someone needs, growth around personal development, and the person says, no, I think I want to focus on my niche. I want to focus on knowing exactly where I should start from. And then somebody is wondering, Sean Robinson said she's a personal development coach, but I don't know if she does this. Do you understand? It means what you are saying is not what they are hearing. You are telling someone, I'm a personal development coach, and I know I can do well with helping someone fashion out their niche. But that's not what you're speaking. Because you are everywhere. You are a generalist. You're not a specialist. So in negotiating for global dominance, become a specialist and not a generalist in your niche. And this only happens when you take the very first step of moving your brand from the existing stage to a stage of awareness where you begin to actually live out your purpose and passion and vision and talent and goals. And then you move on to stage 2, which is now the visibility stage. So you're no longer just existing. Now it's like a pyramid, right? You know the Maslow hierarchy of needs, that kind of a pyramid, exactly. So the very first stage is the broad stage where a lot of people are still wallowing away. If you are still on that stage of simply existing, please begin to move anyhow you can, move to a place of visibility. So moving away from personal development, going to branding, and then narrowing further down to content creation, that is visibility. So when someone needs a content creation coach, someone that can teach me how to create content for visibility, for global dominance, your name comes to mind, because you're no longer a generalist, you are a specialist. So you're now visible. People know you. They're now able to pin a niche to your name, to your brand. You are becoming relevant. You're becoming relevant. So we have moved from existing stage to visibility stage, where you are no longer a confused brand. You now know what you want to do. You begin to build momentum. You begin to put your content together. You begin to put your platforms together. Begin to fashion out where exactly you want to be seen, you want to be known, you want to be heard. And then you move over to stage 3, which is the branding stage. Here you are now branding yourself properly as the go-to person, right? You're using the proper tools, you're found on the proper platforms, and you're speaking the language of the people. They are now hearing you loud and clear. Your ideal audience understands you well now. When you say A, they interpret it as A, not did she say B or C? Do you understand? So in negotiating for global dominance, it will be difficult for you to really go out there and demand for what you want if you don't know what you want yourself. So every time you put out content, graphics, words, text, infographics, animations, video, even featuring on other platform is a type of content that you're using to sell your brand. Always at the front of the back of your mind, if you get what I mean. At the front of the back of your mind, always ask yourself, what I said, is it what my ideal audience heard? And now this is where feedback comes. At the branding stage, which is stage 3, you begin to spread your tentacles. You begin to teach others what you know. For free, fine. Paid, if you can, good for you. You begin to spread your tentacles, spread the water, test the waters, and see really if the system that has brought you this far is really viable and relevant. And then one person uses it and comes back with good results. Another person uses it, you get feedback with amazing results. That's when you can say, yes, now this is a brand worth monetizing. Because I tell you, to be able to negotiate for global dominance, your money will speak. Take it or leave it. Your money will speak. So stage 1 was the existing stage. I want to believe that everybody on this broadcast is no longer on that stage. You are not just existing. You're already living your purpose. You are probably in the visibility stage. Well done. Kudos. Some of you are already in the branding stage. Bravo. You have tested the waters. You have done series of trainings. You have been invited to various other platforms. You have been featured on different blogs and magazines. Kudos. Bravo. Well done. You have now branded yourself as the expert. So we know you, we recognize you, and we can recommend you. Now, what you're saying is what we hear, and that's why as your audience, as your clients, as your customers, we can recommend you now. We can recommend your brand. Someone can be looking for somebody in your niche, and I can confidently beat my chest and say, hey, that's the person you should look for. That's the person you should connect with. That's the person you should go to. It means your brand is now formidable. And then you can move to stage 4, which is now the monetization stage, where you begin to create products. See, you cannot negotiate for global dominance if you don't have something in your hands. What's your negotiating chip? What's the card you have in your hand? What's your ace card in your hand? You want to play the last card and check up. What card is in your hand? What product do you have? When we say product, it doesn't have to be physical product. It could still be physical product, but you must have a product. That's what stage 4 is about, the monetization stage, where you create products, create content, you create programs. See, the beautiful brands you look up to, the amazing brands you love, you hail from morning till evening. Go back to your solitude now and ask yourself, list out the names of the top 10 brands you give kudos to, top 10 brands that you can follow from now till thy kingdom come. And in front of each of them, please write out what unique program, products, or service do they offer. What unique products, program, or service do they offer? And if you find none, then that brand is not a global brand. Check it again. Check it again. I said go back, okay? And the global brands you want to follow bumper to bumper, list like 10 of them out if you have up to 10 of them. And in front of each of them, ask yourself, what program, what products, what projects, what service do these brands have? And I bet you all of them have something unique that they are selling. So you can't afford not to have products. Is it your book, ebook, hard copy? Is it a signature masterclass synonymous to you? Is it a signature yearly program you want to be doing? Is it a signature quarterly program you want to be doing? Is it a magazine you're launching? Is it a project you usually carry out? Is it a charity work you normally do? There has to be something that resonates with you. There has to be a signature program that resonates with your brand. Then you have courses, you have programs, you have masterclasses, you're organizing, you have products, you have projects, you have programs you're selling out, you have coaching programs, consultancy services, done for you services that you're selling out. Because your brand is no longer local, you are going global. So you can't afford to just remain at the branding stage where it is all about you. Now at the monetization stage, it is about effective collaboration with other brands going on the same journey with you. Are we together? Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm glad you're getting value, you're getting value, you're getting value. So quickly, I'm running through the first 4 stages again. Existing stage, you just know that you are there. You just know you have so much in you, but you're not yet clear on the path you want to tow. You're not yet clear on the niche you want to follow or you want to start with. Let me put it that way. You're so multi-talented, it has become like more of a burden instead of a blessing. You are just existing. So that is stage 1. You want to move from that stage quickly to stage 2, the visibility stage, where you have gotten rid of that confusion, of that cobweb, and you're now at a stage where you can now recognize yourself and say, yes, this is who I am now. This is the stage where I am now. This is the stage I'm owning now. Let me own this stage. See, negotiating for global relevance is just like going through school. If you don't do well in primary 1, you will not be promoted to primary 2. The universe is not stupid. Life is in stages. That's why I call my signature program the business of your stage. Because for every stage of life, you need to own it. If you don't, you cannot graduate or be promoted to the next level. Take it from me. That's why a lot of people are stuck at a particular level, merry-go-rounding on that one level, because you have refused to own where you are, make the best use of it, and then with that, promote yourself to the next level. I repeat again, the universe is not stupid. It's just like a child who obviously is not doing well. GS1, GS2, they manage and push him, climbs to SS. And then when it's time for WAEC, again, Nemesis will catch up and they'll be looking for the village witch or wizard that is disturbing such a person. Same thing with building a global brand. You can't just jump shortcuts. You can shorten your learning curve by signing up for amazing coaching programs with mentors who have proven track records, with coaches who have proven track records. You shorten your learning curve so that the time you'll be doing trial and error will be removed. So you can shorten your learning curve, but you cannot jump the process. If not, what you say won't be what we will be hearing. That's why you will see people, some persons, some brands online with amazing bios. But go through their profile, go through their timeline. You'll be wondering, like, seriously? Are you kidding me? It doesn't really tally. Does this make sense? Confusion everywhere. Because, like I said, you can shorten your learning curve, but you cannot jump the process. Same thing, I will use the analogy of a secondary school or primary school again. A very amazing, intelligent child may not be forced to go through the stages one after the other. They can be double promotion, double times. You understand? Someone is promoted from primary 1 to 3, from 3 again to 5, double promotion, double times. It happens. I've seen it happen before. So I'm not saying it has to be one stage after the other meticulously like that, but the process cannot be jumped. Still, the child will finish primary school before jumping to secondary school, even if there was a double promotion in between somewhere. Same thing with your brand. You want to sign up for coaching programs. You want to get on board in a circle of amazing coaches who have proven track records, who are on the path where you're going to, so that you can stand on their shoulders and be able to jump some hurdles, be able to jump some mistakes you would have made, be able to jump some setbacks. It took maybe that coach 1 year to finally figure it. In 30 minutes, he will distill it down for you, and in the next 1 hour, you are running with it already. You have saved yourself a couple of days. You shortened your learning curve, but you did not jump the process. Right? So in building a brand that can put you in a place of position to negotiate for global relevance, you cannot afford to jump the process. But you should shorten your learning curve. And that's why you're here. And I'm sure that this is shortening your learning curve already. So moving from the stage of visibility where you are now comfortable in your own skin, comfortable with the niche you want to start with, you go on to branding. You want to become an expert. You want to know better. You begin to ask yourself, what skills now do I need to learn? Do I need to learn color combination to be able to dress properly? Do I need to go and learn basic makeup skills so that at least I can touch up myself when I want to appear in front of certain dignitaries without having to start waiting for, a full-fledged makeup coach? Do I need to learn 1 or 2, graphic designs so that if impromptu, I need to show up somewhere, I can quickly create 1 digital banner and use it to publicize my market? 1, 2, 3 little skills here and there. Do I need to be able to understand how to go live, how to host a live event, how to host a webinar, how to, create courses, how to record trainings and programs? That is at the branding stage where you are balancing. And then you move to stage 4, which is the monetization stage, where you have over time tested your process over and over again. It worked. And then at the monetization stage, you are now spreading your tentacles. Hey, stop being a local champion. Move. Let someone else test it. Validate what you know. Let someone else work with it. Let a group of people use it. And then ask for feedback. And once it is positive, boy, oh boy, you're on your way to global dominance, I tell you. And then you're moving on to stage 5, which I call the brand expansion stage. At this stage, you are becoming an authority. Brand expansion. At this stage, you have other amazing brands wanting to work with you and collaborate with you. You're beginning to have international recognition, because at the monetization stage where you are spreading your tentacles, if you know what you're doing, you're already spreading out. In this age and time where I can be here, at the same time address people in South Africa, address people in the UK and the US, what's your excuse? If you do proper branding, signing up for proper coaching and mentoring program, at your monetization stage, you would have been armed with the skills and tools to help you break barriers, to help you break boundaries. Once you have internet and a smartphone, you are good to go. But of course, there are still a lot of people who are visibly invisible on the online space, and so they are saying something, but we are hearing something different. Hasn't it happened to you before where you said something and someone is like, but I thought this was what you said? And you're like, didn't you hear me? This was exactly what I said. And the person is like, no, this was what I thought you said. Same thing with most of our brands. We are not clear on our message. We are not clear. We have not branded ourselves properly. We have not tested our systems over and over again. And then boom, you want to shoot up and become that global relevant brand. Hello, you will find it difficult to stay there for long. So you want to now move on to the fifth stage, where you have brand expansion. Where you have what? Brand expansion. Your brand has now moved beyond you. You're now an authority. Your brand name alone opens doors. You have been able to move out of your locality. After being locally relevant, you can now go on to become globally relevant because you have something to point back to and say, coming from this place, I think I can be relevant here. Why do you think people gather experiences? Why do you think people, want to have travel experience, training experience, even if I have to intern, even if I have to volunteer? Why do you think volunteering is now a very hot cake? Volunteer in good organizations, or not any organizations, please. So why do you think volunteering is becoming something very important now? So that you have a track record, so that you have a base, so that you have a story to tell where you are coming from. So you're not just coming to blab, you're coming to share. See, when I say what you say is not what I heard, it simply means there's a gap, there's a lacuna that you need to fill, so that there's a beautiful, smooth, and heat-free transmission of the values you carry as a brand. There's heat-free transmission of the value you carry as a brand to the audience that needs you. And you will see that consistently you remain relevant. You're not like a shooting star, rather. You're not like brands that just come up out of nowhere, boom, 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 boom. They make so much noise, and before you know it, like Yoruba will say, that shouldn't be you. You should be thinking of the long haul. You should be thinking of global dominance for years to come, even after you. You should have strategic, long-term strategic plans, long-range strategic plans for you and your brand. You are young, but there can be more to you, like the program says, young and more. You are young, but there's so much more to you. Your brand may be young, but there's so much more to your brand as well. All right? So you have moved on to the brand expansion stage, where you are now an authority. You're beginning to build brand loyalty, brand following. You have, even if you don't want to move a muscle, you have people speaking for you. And it keeps reflecting at your back end. You see some amazing brands come online at times and they're like, hey, who mentioned my name somewhere, or what happened? Because they saw activities on the back end, either in terms of email list expansion, in terms of alerts in the bank account. Some courses are selling out fast like that. Books are being ordered for, and they are wondering what happened. That is brand expansion. Or your Amazon, profile, you have your Amazon account there, you see some dollars trickling in, and you're wondering which of my products is selling out. Remember, I said at the monetization stage, that's where you create. You create. Because you cannot be a globally relevant brand if you have just one source of relevance. If people can only access your brand through one source. What do I mean? So if I don't book a one-on-one with you, I cannot benefit from your brand again. Is that the kind of brand that you are? Then you're not ready for brand expansion. You should be able to serve your audience at different levels. Someone cannot afford your one-on-one, the person should be able to get on your group coaching program. The person cannot afford your group coaching program, the person should be able to buy 1 or 2 books of yours. The person cannot buy a book, the person should be able to pick up your workbook. The person cannot pick up your workbook, the person should be able to sign up for probably your 15 minutes clarity call. You should have tributaries of products that at every stage your ideal audience may be in their own growth process, they can key into your brand at every level. That's when you know that you have built a globally relevant brand, that someone from outside your country can pick something from your digital vault or your product vault, like I call it. You should have a digital product vault where you have so much resources that for everyone that comes in contact with your brand, there's a level for which they can connect with you. So you have high net worth individuals connecting with you, you have done for you programs for them, 1 million naira worth of project or program that you can sell to them. You have the intermediate ones come to you, you have coaching programs, one-on-one coaching programs you can sell to them. You have those that are at the lower rung come to you, you have group or mass coaching programs you can tell them to sign up for, or pre-recorded trainings that they can go and listen to and execute themselves. You have those that just need one material or so from you. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 books that you can recommend and have them pick up. You have someone that says, I'm tired of reading books. I need something that, I can put to work immediately and start to see results. You have amazing workbooks that you can recommend. So at any point in time, at any level that they come to you, your brand is so expanded that they have something they can key into immediately. Then you have built a globally relevant brand. And then the final stage. See, this is a program, this is this methodology or this system that I've taken you through is my brand new signature program that I'm going to be launching in January. Though the abridged version is what I've done throughout 2020, and I have trained over 115 ladies and amazing results has been made. So I'm expanding it for business brands, personal business brands that want to be able to attract paying clients and build a globally relevant market for themselves. The final stage is the stage I call profiting. Now, profiting here is relative. Oh, hello, my time is almost up, so I'm wrapping up. Profiting here is relative. Someone can make 6 figures and say, wow, this is a huge profit. We know the level where that person is and starting from. Someone can make 1 million naira and say, whoa, this is good profit, this business here for my business. We understand where the person is coming from. Someone can make 10 million naira or 100 million naira and say, this is profiting. Someone else can say, 1 billion and above is my profiting benchmark. So profiting here is relative. But at the profiting stage, whether you are sleeping or you are vacating, or you are eating consistently, day in, day out, every blessed minute, activity is going on in your back end. At the profiting stage, just before you get to that, profiting stage, which more or less is like on autopilot, during the brand expansion stage, you have built systems, you have built structure, and you have built a team to work with. Because now this brand of yours is beyond you. For global relevance or global dominance, see, you cannot do it alone. So if at the visibility stage, at the branding stage, at the monetization stage, you are your content creator, you are your own graphic designer, you are your own storyteller, you are your own social media strategist, you are your own virtual assistant, you are your own web designer, you are your own what else again, Facebook ads manager, you are your own Instagram ads manager. See, you will rotate on that level for a very, very long time. But moving from monetization to brand expansion, it means you're understanding the fact that, hey, I'm globally dominating. I'm going to dominate globally. So you want to begin to build structures, systems, and team to work with. so that you can quickly again move from that brand expansion stage and move to profiting, when your major work will be head work and you have a team doing the leg work for you. That's why you have amazing brands tell you the 3 months vacation I took was the best part of my year, because that was when I made more money than when I was working. They've been able to build a system, a structure, and a team that literally works on autopilot with or without their physical presence. And that's the level you should be aiming to get to for global dominance. I hope this has made much sense to you. So you know where you are in this pyramid for global dominance. You know where you are. At the bottom stage is where you are just existing. I don't want to believe anybody is just still existing, right? So probably you're at the visibility stage, stage 2, the branding stage, stage 3, the monetization stage, maybe stage 4. You now want to move to brand expansion, stage 5, and the profiting stage, stage 6. With all these stages taken care of, I am very sure that you would always kill it at every negotiating table for your global dominance. Thank you very much.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Can you hear me, guys? Can you hear me? So please put in the comment section that you can hear me. And if you know that Shay will just bust your head this evening, leave a comment with your favorite emoji. Leave the fire emoji in the comment section. Leave it after the comment section. Shay, will you bust my head? Woo! Thank you so much. Guys, if you got value, leave a comment in the comment section. Leave the fire emoji in the comment section right away. 1, 2, go. Please leave a comment section. Leave a comment in the comment section. Leave it. Thank you so much for seeing. You really gave so much value today. So much more than we really expected. Thank you so much. Please, if there are any questions, we're going to just be taking one question because the next speaker has to come on stage right away. So, just one question. If you do have a question, please leave it in the comment section, okay? Yes. Shemu, they are leaving so much fire for you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Now, the most important thing is for you to execute, please. For you to
Yeah.
execute. Go back and sit down and ask yourself, where am I in this pyramid for global dominance? Once you identify where you are, you know what is left for you to do. Begin to get to work, because you have no excuse not to dominate globally.
Thank you so much, Kevin Robinson. Please, are there questions so that we can have the next speaker on board? If you have a question, please indicate in the question queue and we'll just answer one question. And Shemu, please talk about your signature course that we are talking about during the training. We talked about your signature course. Please talk about it so that those who want to be a part of it can join.
Okay, this is a brand new signature course. It's an academy, 8 weeks academy. That's 2 months where we ensure that we take your brand through all these levels and ensure that you're able to master whatever stage you are in. That's why it's called the Business of Your Stage Academy. I believe that every brand is at one stage or the other, but you need to master where you are, know what is lacking, know what you need for the next stage to move ahead. This will be launching in January. And for anybody who needs more information, you can search me out on Facebook, Seun Robinson, send me a DM, and I would definitely get back to you. We have the miniature one, which is a 4-week program, but it's a group coaching program. But this launching on January will be one-on-one. I want to be able to attend specifically to personal business brands, not everybody. But of course, I still have other programs that you can sign up for. And if I'm the one teaching you brand expansion, it means you should know that there's something you can key into when it comes to my brand. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Seun, for the value you gave today. It was so much here and we really appreciate it. Okay, we
Thank
are
you.
looking at the comment section to know if there are questions, but of course, like you started everywhere and there are no questions. But all the
Okay.
same, thank you so much. And I'll
All right.
see you at the end.
Thank you. No shakes. Thank you so much.
All right. So, guys, thanks so much to Shem Robinson for this beautiful, amazing session. She shared so much value, such that you cannot even get it in just a day, but she shared so much value in less than an hour. And I'm super excited to have her on board here today. So we're going to be having the next speaker right away, and his name is Oyindamola Johnson. And Johnson is going to be talking about how to elevate your game. Okay, yes. He's the when you hear elevate your game, of course you know that we are talking about Johnson. So if you want to connect with Seun Robinson on Instagram, please, that's her IG handle on the screen. Ensure that you send her a message so that you can speak with her and of course connect with her. I'm super excited for the value you share. Thank you so much, Seun. And we're going to be having the next speaker on board. He's ready. But first of all, let's see this.
With over 10 years of designing and implementing social innovation projects in Africa, Europe, Southeast Asia, and North America, covering talent management, higher education, non-profit management, and youth development, Oyindamola is passionate about raising ethical leaders to drive innovation, entrepreneurship, and development in rural and urban communities, as well as empowering professionals to build impactful careers and function effectively at the intersection of passion, purpose, impact, and profit. He is a Salzburg Global Fellow, G20 Young Global Changer, American Express Leadership Academy alumni, Atlas Core alumni, and an African Union Commission Youth Hero, amongst others. Oyindamola is a career development strategist, leadership coach, international speaker, and author of the book Elevate Your Game. Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome Oyindamola Johnson.
Yes. So good day,
Hello,
everyone.
can you hear me? Yeah, can
Okay.
you hear me, Oyindamola Johnson?
Loud and clear. Loud and clear. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Perfectly. Okay, I'm okay. Trust you had a wonderful day. Hello, guys. Oyindamola Johnson right on the stage, and I'm super excited to have him on board. Of course, you know that Oyindamola is going to be sharing so much value. Our first speaker gave it hot, and he's here now to complete the hotting stage. So, if you know that there is somebody who is supposed to be live here, quickly go and ask them to come on live because the career development coach is about to give it hot. So we are going to be leaving the stage up to you now, Oyindamola Johnson. You have the stage right away.
Great. Thank you so much, Ijom, and thank you so much to everyone that has joined today. Thank you so much to the organizers of today's session. It's a great pleasure to be here. Just before I joined, I saw Seun having a session, and I was writing down some things because I take out every time to learn as much as I can. So thank you so much to everyone that has joined. Reaching you live from somewhere in the world, and I'm going to be having a conversation with those that have joined us today. So it's not a presentation, it's not a training. I'm just going to be having a conversation. So most people who know me know that something that is synonymous with me is the catchphrase that I work with, which is elevate your game. A lot of people have asked me what elevate your game means, and for me, elevate your game is much more than it's more than a catchphrase. Elevate your game is elevate your game is a philosophy to me. Elevate your game is a way of life. Elevate your game is um, it's a thought. It's a thought process, and it's also the way that we should configure our minds to function. So the first question that I'm going to ask right now is when people hear your name, when people come across you, what difference do you want them to have? So I'm going to rephrase the question again, and I say, when you drink Coke, there's a taste that Coke leaves in your mouth. When you drink Fanta, there's a different taste it leaves. When you drink malt, there's a different taste that it has. So which is the aftertaste, right? So my question is this: when people come in contact with you, when people come um, across your work or anything that you're doing, what aftertaste do you leave in their mouth? So not literally their mouth now, but what aftertaste do you leave behind? So if you've not thought of this, this is something that you probably might want to look into, especially as we move into the new year. So like I said, Elevator Game is about taking what you do to the next level. Elevator Game is about understanding that the things that brought you here probably will not be the things that will take you to the next stage. So think about those things that I don't know what your name is. Okay, so let me look at the comment section. So your name might be Matthew, Micah, your name might be Eunice, Baye. Um, when people come in contact with you, like, what do you want them to take away with them? And for me, I've been able to craft that experience, and I've been able to hone it, and I've been able to package it into just that one line, which is elevate your game. I thought it was important for me to give this context so that people understand where I'm coming from. So let me tell you how Elevate Your Game started. Some people know how it started for me, but for those who don't know, I thought it was important that I give this context. Elevate Your Game started as a hashtag that I end my comments, my posts, the thoughts that I share on social media. So that's how it started. About 3 years ago, I would share thoughts, on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, wherever, and I'll just put hashtag elevate your game. So in that way, I've been able to curate all my thoughts into a catchphrase. So click hashtag elevate your game on social media. I'm sure other people use it, but click hashtag elevate your game on social media. You can be sure that you would come across 5, 10, 15, 20 posts, 50, 100, 150 posts by Oyindamola Johnson. And that's how it started. And when I came back from the United States, sometime in 2017, I thought to myself, I said, how can I take what I do to the next level? I've lived and worked in New York for 1 year. A lot of people, the organization that brought me to the US invested time, resources, and all that. How can I take this to the next level? And that is how Elevate Your Game left being a thought in my mind, being a hashtag on Facebook, and that's when it became an event that people attended. So people attended the first one in 2017. We gathered around, let's say, 50, 60 young people. It was free. We had a great time, and that was it. 2018, we said, okay, so there was 2017, there was 2018 edition, there was 2019. But at each stage, we kept seeing that there was growth and all that. So this year, 2020, we held our Elevate Your Game conference, which brought over 350. So remember where it started? It started from the mind. So everything started from here. The truth is, what you've not been able to see with your inner eye, what you've not been able to think through, what you've not been able to conceptualize, chances are that you might not be able to birth it. So a lot of times, a lot of us want to move to the next level, want to move to the next phase. If you haven't in your mind, in your subconscious, in your spirit, worked on that and moved to that phase, you probably would find it hard to physically get there. So even though Elevate Your Game started as a thought on Facebook, as something from the mind, it began to grow, began to expand. Like I said, we started with like 50 people for a paid conference. The second one we said, okay, let's make it paid. No, so the first one was free. The second one we said, okay, you know what, let's make it paid. The third one we said, you know what, let's make it free. The fourth one we said, let's make it paid. The fourth one that we had this year, it was paid. We brought in over 350 young professionals from across Nigeria. Not just for one event, we had 2 events back to back. So there was like 370 young professionals for the first session, back to back. The second session in the evening was a networking mixer. That was platinum. People paid around 10,000 naira to just be in the room on that day. We had over 50 people. It got to a stage that we started returning money back to people. People were saying, here's my money. So this was not us running after people and saying, we still have space, we still have space. This was people telling us, here's my money, please get me a seat. And we're like, no, there's no seat. Like, we just can't take anybody anymore. Why am I sharing this with you? I'm sharing this with you to understand that it was a journey, it was a process. From a hashtag on Facebook to a movement that young people are following, that professionals around the world are following, to paid events, to a lot of things that is happening, and then to this. So Elevate Your Game left just being a hashtag on Facebook. It left just being a thought in my mind. It grew into this. This is over 200 pages. A book that I sat down, that I wrote. And what is it titled again? Elevate Your Game. So what am I trying to do? I'm drilling it into people's mind. I'm putting it out there into your subconscious. Like what I said, sometimes when people come across me, some people don't even know what my name is anymore. People just, when they hear Elevate Your Game, they know that this is Oyindamola Johnson. So this is the book that I wrote, Elevate Your Game, the ultimate guide to help you gain clarity, make local impact, and grow global influence. And when I was called to share about Elevate Your Game today, I thought this was the best place for us to start. And I'm just going to quickly go into my session because I know that I don't have much time. And I just want us to go through a couple of things. So like I said, I don't have a presentation, but still, there are just some things that I would like to share with you. Great. So I hope you can see my screen. So the truth is, the world is messy. The world is in chaos. The world is in a state of disorder. The world is facing conflict. So I wrote here, I said, the world is currently in a state of tremendous shift, which is challenging everything we once knew as valid or even held as truth. The time has come, and the time is now, where true leaders must arise and take on the challenge and the burden of leadership. So, great. I thought I should give that context to let you know the state of the world that we are in now. And when I was preparing for this session, a lot of things came to my mind, and I said to myself, a lot of things that brought us to where we are now are not the things that will take us to the next stage. Because the truth is, 2020 has defied everything that we thought the world was. For example, for this conference to hold in the previous world order, we all had to gather in one place, right? I am not in Nigeria at this moment, so probably I would have had to fly down to Nigeria. Everyone that has joined from the comfort of their rooms would have had to physically be there. But look at what is happening now. Everyone is joining from different parts of the world. Look at what has happened to education. Even though there's been online learning and virtual learning, now learning is taking place from around the world. For example, the likes of universities like Harvard is saying that, you know what, for our 2021 session, like no one is returning back to campus, and we're not reducing 1 cent from our school fees. So this means that when you register to gain admission into a university, it is not just the learning that you're paying for. You're paying for the total experience, the brand recognition, the network, friendship, everything. That is what you're paying for. But Harvard University is saying you're going to study from your house, but we're paying you. We're going to charge you exactly the same thing you were going to pay if you're going to come into class, or if you're going to come on campus. And people are still paying. People are registering. So that is just the world that we're in now today, and there's a lot of shift. And if we don't take out time to understand the importance of taking our game to the next level, the truth is we're going to see that we're going to get left behind. So I have something else that I want to share with you. I don't want to make this too much of too much of slides, but I feel that it's very important for us to go through this. So I'm just going to share my slides, and we're going to take this, and we're going to see how we can roll with it. Yes. Great. So I'm just going to skip to the important ones. So the truth is, when we were young, when we were in primary school, when we were in secondary school, so this is how we thought life was going to be. We thought life was going to be rosy. We thought life was going to be smooth. We thought life was just going to be one smooth ride, right? I'm going to graduate from the university. I'm going to get a good job. I'm going to get married. I'm going to build a house. I'm going to travel the world. I'm going to do blah, 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 blah. So this was what I even thought life was going to look like. But let me tell you, this was what we saw when we faced life itself. So this is what life exactly is. So life isn't this. This is what life is. You can see that there's a whole state of chaos happening. So for some people, for some young professionals out there, this was what they thought life was going to be. I'm going to start my career. By year 2, I'll be a manager. By year 5, I'll be a director. By year 10, I would probably own my business and all that. But they discovered that from year 0 or from year 1, this was what life brought them. So the truth is, this is probably the experience of a lot of people presently now, where it's a state of, so this ties back to my presentation in the first, which is that the world is in a state of chaos, the world is in a state of disarray, the world is in a state of fragmentation, where things are like broken into pieces. The world is in a state in which people are finding it hard to figure things out. The world is in a state where people are finding it hard to get clarity. So for some people, this might be the state that you're in now. But I'd like us to walk through what is happening next. At the initial stage, when the Bible was being written, the young gentleman who read my bio said that I work with young people as it pertains to helping them find the intersection of passion, purpose, impact, and profit. And I thought it was very important for me to touch on this today as it pertains to elevating your game. And I'm going to be very fast, so that I can actually have more than enough time to take questions. So the truth is, a lot of times I hear young people talk about how passionate they are. I hear young people talk about how they are working in their purpose. I hear young people talk about how they are making impact. But the truth is, I rarely hear about people saying that they are making profit. Now, profit is relative. Like what Seun said the other time, profit really isn't about naira and kobo. But let's quickly run through this. So a lot of people are passionate about things now. A lot of young people are passionate about things. So what is passion? Passion is just that feeling of intense enthusiasm that you have towards something or towards someone. It can range from an eager interest in or admiration for an idea, a proposal, or a cause. It means to have enthusiastic enjoyment of an interest or activity, or a strong attraction or excitement or emotion towards someone or towards something. So a lot of times, a lot of us have this strong passion for something. While passion might not necessarily take you the whole step, passion is sometimes the first place where it starts from. So let's move to the next one. What is purpose? Your life purpose consists of the central motivating aims of your life. So this is the reason why you get up in the morning. Purpose guides your life decisions. It influences your behavior. It shapes your goals. It offers a sense of direction. It creates meaning. and it is sometimes your purpose is connected to your vocation. So let us move to the next one. What is impact? The impact is simply the outcome of the influence that you wield over something or over others. This, and I said this would either be positive or negative. Let's move to the next one. What is profit? Profit is the good result or advantage that can be achieved by a particular action or activity. So I'm gonna stop sharing my slide here, and I want to go back. We've talked about passion, we've talked about purpose, we've talked about impact, and we're going to talk about, and we've talked about profit. When it comes to elevating your game, you have to be very clear on what you're passionate about. How does this fit my life purpose? Am I making impact with this thing? And what profit is it bringing to me? I think that the time has passed where professionals would dabble into things because they're passionate about it. For example, I'm passionate about empowering people. I'm passionate about making people see the next step of what they do. I'm passionate about youth development. I'm passionate about higher education. I'm passionate about a lot of things. And there was a time where I was young people. Let's break this down. You know, sometimes you're passionate about some things. You know, you everyone has a hub now. Activation hub, you can be incubation hub, whatever. Everyone has a hub now. Almost everyone has a non-profit. People ask me, so Mr. Johnson, so let me digress a bit. A lot of times when I would travel to countries for conferences, you know, a lot of people would stand up, you know, hello, blah, 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 blah. I'm the founder, CEO, director of so and so initiative, so and so non-profit, so and so NGO, blah, 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 blah. And there was a time, and you know, after they're done, and I'll just stand up. Hello, guys. My name is Oyindamola Johnson, and I sit down. Sometimes people used to wait, you know, for me to also blah 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 blah. Get this. Most people who know me would have heard me say this at several times. Capacity trumps titles, and that's just the truth. You can have all the aliases at the end of your name. BSc, MA, PhD, whatever, all the professional accolades and all that. And your impact could be as empty as anything. So it is not about the accolades. It is not about the titles. It is about the capacity. So you need to sit down and you need to be very, very, very transparent with yourself and ask yourself this question: what problems am I wired to solve? You know what happens? A lot of times when you have young people travel around the world for conferences, sometimes what they're building is brand recognition, popularity. But sometimes brand recognition and popularity doesn't get the job done, because they've, in their minds, you know, they're this huge top shots, right? So when they go to an organization, they cannot go and start as a program officer because they expect that, you know, we've been everywhere, so we should either be coming in as on a director level, on a manager level, blah 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 blah. And sometimes when some of those people come into organizations, they lack skill, they lack experience, they lack expertise. Traveling around the world doesn't translate to hard skills that you need to thrive in an organization, in a structured organization. So when it comes to elevate your game, like I said, you need to sit down and you need to do a SWOT analysis on yourself. And you need to sit down and you need to say, Damola Johnson, what are your strengths? You have that, you know, that box. You divide it into 4: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Damola Johnson, what are your strengths? What are your area of strengths? Storytelling, program design, training, facilitation, monitoring, and evaluation, whatever. hard skills and both soft skills. It's there. So what are your weaknesses? Sometimes your weaknesses are your blind spots. So these are things that you are not able to see. So sometimes for some people might not be able to get to that level of transparency where they're able to say these are my weaknesses. So you need to have people within your circle that can tell you, hey guy, or hey friend, hey girl, you're great, you're fantastic, but you need to focus on A, B, C, D. So those are your weaknesses, you put it there. So what are those threats? What are those things that could happen? What are those traits? What are those like I said, what are those traits? What are those things that could mar, that could be a disadvantage to the strengths that you've written? So you put it there. Also, I tend to talk too much. I tend to procrastinate. I tend not to do a good job. I tend to just I get tired easily on tasks. Like I get bored easily. Like, what are those threats that you need to be very conscious of? And now, what are those opportunities? Like, if I focus on my areas of strength and I'm able to do this, what are those opportunities that could arise as a result of that? And you need to be able to sit down and map yourself, and you say, what are those things that I need to work on? Let me quickly talk about something. A lot of times when people approach career development and strategic thinking as it pertains to not just their career but their continuous personal and professional development or growth, a lot of times what we do is we think from now into the future. The truth is sometimes it's going to get blurry when you try to picture it from now into the future. So here is something that I normally share with people that get onto paid sessions with me. I'm like, this is where we are now. What is the big picture? Where do you see yourself in the next 20 years? Okay, so in the next 20 years, I see myself as the director of the African Development Bank, right? So that is the 20-year big goal. Great, we map it out. We have it. That's our 20-year big goal. So I say, okay, so let's work backwards. Where do you need to be by year 15 to ensure that by year 20, you are the director of African Development Bank? Okay, so by year 15, I probably should be whatever you get. So this I should, or probably I should have gotten my PhD. I should have done this, blah blah blah. Okay, so this is the big picture for year 15. We map it down because if we're able to get to this stage by year 15, we'll get to year 20. So I said, okay, you know what? Let's work backwards. Where do you need to be by year 10 that will guarantee year 10? No, sorry. Where do you need to be by year 10 that will guarantee year 15? Remember, we've left year 20 and year 15. Where do I need to be by year 10? Okay, by year 10, I need to be in so and so place. I need to have so and so skills. I need to have so and so experiences. We map it down. Great. Let's work backwards again. Where do you need to be by year 5 to guarantee year 10? I map it out, blah, 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 blah. I need to have the skills. I need to have this experience. I need to have this kind of network and all that. Great. Where do I need to be by year 2 to guarantee year 5? Remember, we've forgotten about year 10, we've forgotten about year 15, we've forgotten about year 20. Where do I need to be by year 2 to guarantee year 5? I map it out, I write it down. Where am I now to guarantee next year? To guarantee year 2, not year 5. Where am I now to guarantee year 2? So when you now begin to break it down this way, you now say, okay, so this is where I am now. I don't have this skill to ensure that I'm at this level by year 2, not year 20. We've forgotten about that. We've mapped it out, we've written it down, we've left it there. Where do I need to be now to guarantee year 2? Okay, so to guarantee where I want to be by year 2, I need to have done this, I need to have written this exam. I need to have this skill, I need to have this experience. Okay, so what can we do now to guarantee year 2? When you approach personal and professional development this way, you would realize that probably that fellowship that you're running after doesn't even fit into the career trajectory that you've written out. If you are very sincere and you look at it, probably that fellowship, that master's program does not even fit where you're heading. Because what happens is a lot of young people come on social media and they see Larry just got into this fellowship. Which fellowship is this? I didn't know about this one. Before you know it, bam, you've googled it. When is the Larry is in the US now? Okay, so when is the deadline? Okay, I can still apply. You send your you send your application. Do you understand? So life becomes, you saw this one got something, you quickly apply. You saw this one got something, you quickly apply. Life just becomes chaotic. Like that picture I showed you initially, life just becomes chaotic. See, there was a time that I was like that. There was a time that I was like that. I would apply for anything and everything. Let me share something with you guys. There was an application long time ago that I worked on at the initial stage when I started all this. I had stayed 1 week on that application. I was fine-tuning, I was writing, I was doing the best that I can. When I wanted to submit, something just told me, read the requirements again. By the time I read the requirements, guess what I found? It was only available to women. So I did not even read the requirements. I just said, hey, opportunity, travel, where's my passport? Oh yeah, let us apply. And only women could apply. I had spent 1 week fine-tuning, getting everything, blah, 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 blah. So that was just a time of, there's a time for everything. So that was just the time of ignorance. But the truth is, I'm at the stage now where sometimes 2 months pass, 3 months pass, 6 months pass, 8 months pass, and I've not applied for one thing. It used to bother me at some point. I'll be like, Damola, what's happening? You've not applied for anything. Not that I don't see things. I see things. I see things that I know that if I close my eyes, like I could get into it with my eyes shut. I could get into it with my eyes shut. But it's gotten to a stage in time where there is clarity on what the next step is. And I am very conscious about elevating my game because I understand that not every open door leads to where you're going. Some open doors I trap. Some open doors is just the entry that has a knob. Once you enter and the door shuts, from outside, you cannot even, from inside, you cannot open the door again, like you're stuck inside. So I've come to that point where there's clarity. Is it everyone that is able to get to that stage where there's clarity? I need to say something. Clarity is a journey, not a destination. So if you're someone who you're asking yourself, so where do I start from? I connect with what Damola is saying and all that, but where do I start from? You need to understand that clarity is a journey and not a destination. So I want to do something. I still want to share. I want to share my screen with you, and we take it from there. Great. I want to talk about 2 levels of impact. Everybody knows Mother Teresa, right? She grew famous for humbly ministering to lepers, the homeless, and the poorest of the poor in the slums of Calcutta, otherwise known as Kolkata in India. And she was also proclaimed a saint by, the Catholic Church in 2016. So we can say that Mother Teresa is someone that, was functioning at the intersection of passion, purpose, impact, and profit. Because she's very passionate about the work that she's doing and all that. So hold the thoughts of Mother Teresa, and I want to show you someone else. Mark Zuckerberg is an American internet entrepreneur and philanthropist, and is also known for co-founding and leading Facebook as its chairman and chief executive officer. The truth is, I've listened to Mark a whole lot of times. Whenever Mark is talking about Facebook, he never talks about it from the money that they are making. He talks about it from the perspective of the impact that Facebook is making, connecting people, connecting communities, connecting people. It's all about connections. It's all about community. But the question I need to ask is Facebook making money? Is Facebook making profit from following their passion, from following what they're, from following what they're passionate about, and from working in their purpose? I'm not going to answer the question. I'm going to leave you to answer the question. So we have 2 levels of people who are working in their passion and purpose and all that. Here's one example. Here's another example. None is better than the other, but you can say that both are fulfilling their purpose, fulfilling their passion, and at the end of the day, both are determining and interpreting profit to whatever they say that it is. So for Mother Teresa, profit means something to her. That smile that she gets, that sense of hope, that sense of being, that sense of happiness, that sense of joy she feels meeting the needs of others. And Mark also has his own sense of fulfillment also. So let's run. So this is passion, this is purpose, this is profit, this is impact. My work and where I have thrived in is being able to find a connection between both. So for some people, passion is here, purpose is here, profit is here, impact is here. So they are running after passion. They are wondering, is this thing really, am I working in my purpose? Okay, let me try and work in purpose, but I'm not making profit. Okay, let me try and focus on profit, but I'm not making impact. Sometimes that's the dilemma that people have. So the question here that I'm asking is, so how do we connect these dots? So connecting the dots, you have to focus on 6 steps. Number 1, self-introspection. This phase is very critical and it helps you understand your journey as well as your destination. So I'm just going to run through it and I'll come back and you can see me. So I said number 1, self-introspection, like taking out time to just sit down, think, shutting down from everything, from every noise and every other thing, and really concentrating on yourself. There was a time where I would accept all speaking. You need to ask Ijoma. I had turned down this invitation, I think twice, before Alita accepted. I had accepted, I turned it down, I think twice, before Anita came on again. Because there was a time where, see, impact is not by your face seen on every poster on social media. Do you find gold on the streets? You don't find gold on the streets. You know what you find on the streets? You find sand, you find stones. So those ones are in great demand. So what I'm saying is there's a lot of times where you just need to shut down, shut out the noise, and really do some self-introspection. This ties back to the SWOT analysis that I said we need to do by ourselves. Focus on your goals, understand yourself, be intentional, understand that there's always more, define what profit means to you. And after you've done all this, you'll find out that you are in the middle. Passion is not something you're running after, purpose is not something you're running after, profit is not something you're running after, impact is not something that you're running after. You are now in the center of everything. For me, for example, the work that I'm doing now, I am functioning in the intersection of the 4 because I'm doing what I'm passionate about, I'm working in my purpose, I'm making impact, and I'm making great profit out of it. So I'm going to stop sharing for a while, and I just want to come back so that you can see me. A lot of people are saying this section is is awesome. Mathematica, engineer Ubunaya Chinedu, you're really getting value. Thank you. Is it Larry Media? It says clarity is a journey, not a destination. It's not a direction. Clarity is a journey, not a destination. So, like I said, yes, Shafiu Mashud, thank you so much for highlighting that. So, these are the things that one needs to really think about. For example, during COVID, people had so much time and they didn't know what to do with it, right? So, there were these online courses, and a lot of these organizations were dishing out courses for free. So, a lot of people found that courses that they could not register before were now suddenly free. They could register, so a lot of people began to register for a lot of courses. And it got to a stage where people registered for 1,000 courses and they didn't even finish one. Because the truth is, sometimes you sit down and you ask yourself a question and you say, how does this tie into where I'm heading as a person? The fact that something is free, the fact that something is available, doesn't necessarily mean that it is the best next thing for you. For example, I've never said this anywhere. When I was leaving the United States after my Atlas Core Fellowship, I'd applied to graduate school, University of Oregon. I got an admission into Masters in Non-Profit Management. I was in my office when the admission letter came, and I put it on the chair. And I said, I've spent 1 year in the United States, part of this global fellowship, highly prestigious and all that. And I've also I had admission into graduate school. So that would have meant another 2 years in the United States, studying in an American institution. And I sat down and I told myself, I said, after this fellowship, going into graduate school appears to be the next best thing that should happen. Because when people hear you've spent 1 year in the United States, you've lived and worked in New York, right now you're in graduate school, blah, 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 it sounds good. But I sat down and I asked myself, and I said, is this a need to have or a good to get? And this is something that a lot of us need to understand. A question we need to ask ourselves. Those things that we're facing, that promotion, that fellowship, that whatever it is this a need to get or a good to have? You know what is a good to have? I'm wearing this shirt, I'm good enough. It's great. I really do not need a jacket. Honestly, a jacket does not make any sense right now. But if I get a jacket and I wear it on top, it's a good to have. Like, it really doesn't make any difference, but yeah, it's packaging, elevating my game, it packages me well. So it's a good to have. But if I was in -10 weather, then a jacket is a need to get, because this is talking about survival. I dare not wear this shirt alone in -10 degrees. The person would freeze to death. So I am wearing a jacket, it becomes a need to have, not a good to get. So a lot of times, a lot of things that we are chasing, we need to sit down and we just need to draw that line and say, is this a need to have or a good to get? Which is, what difference does this really make? And for someone else, getting into graduate school would have been a need to have, because life is in stages and in phases, right? For someone else, that would have been a need to have graduate school for them. But for me, at that stage of my life, it was a good to get. It wasn't a need to have. And when my fellowship was wrapping up, without a job waiting for me in Lagos, without contact or connections, because I'd left the country for like 1 year, I took the admission letter and I threw it into my bag. And I came back to Nigeria. Someone would have said, you got admission into an American university and you did not go. Where people are running after this and they are getting it. People are at different stages of their lives. People are at different levels of clarity. I had lived and worked in different countries, and I thought to myself that there's a stage where you've learned. You need to go out there and implement. I was just leaving the United States. I've been part of this fellowship, this amazing fellowship, for 1 year, and I do not even have time to go and implement all that I've learned, and I'm jumping right back into class for the next 2 years. And I told myself, I said, this is not what I want. For someone else, graduate school would have been the best thing for them. Like I said, people are in different stages and phases. I was able to ask myself, is this a need to have or a good to get? And I knew that at that stage, it was a good to get, not a need to have. And the truth is, this November, I'm going to be speaking on a panel session organized by the Career Center of the American University. Right from where I am, I'm not even in the United States now, I'm not in Europe, I'm not in anywhere, I'm in Africa, but I'm speaking on a panel session at American University. This ties back to capacity trumping titles. In my organization, I've had the opportunity of interviewing a lot of people who had masters. A lot of people who have masters. Mind you, I'm the chief operating officer of the organization that I work with that I work with now. I don't have my master's yet. What I have is my bachelor's. But there's a level of experience, there's a level of technical skills that experience builds. See, when you leave, I tell a lot of people, when you leave university, guess what they give you? And I want to be very practical about this. When you leave university, what do they give you? They give you a piece of paper. I do a lot of career coaching. I work with professionals from early level to late level and all that. I do a lot of hiring, I do a lot of interviews and all that. The truth is, we have, especially where I work now, and from the experience that I have, we've never had anyone based on the paper that they had. We've had people based on the experience that they had, based on the problems that they're coming to the organization to solve. So whatever qualifications you've gotten, you know what you need to do? And then start afresh. Because the truth is, paper qualification has a tendency of puffing up your mind. I'm MSc this, I'm PhD this, I'm blah, 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 blah. Do you know how many people with PhDs have to remove the PhD qualification from their resume when they're applying for jobs? Do you know how many people have to remove their master's degree from their resume when they're applying for jobs because they don't want to come across as being too overqualified, because the jobs that they're applying for is too entry level. So we've seen people remove their PhDs because they know that you cannot have a PhD and apply as a clerk or as a program officer. So some people with their PhDs, they remove it. Some people with their MScs, your master's is great. If that is the next thing for you to do, please do. But we've seen people remove it. Why? Because they do not want to come across as being too qualified and all that. So you see what I did with that paper, whatever level of experience you think you might have gotten, whatever it is, tear it off, throw it away. Because how many things that you learned in university are you using for life now? How many things that you learned in secondary school are you using for life now? How many things that you learned in primary school are you using for life now? A lot of times, organizations have their own training school, where irrespective of whatever you've learned, that is why someone would study Yoruba and can still work in a bank. All that the person needs to have is brains, a strategic mind, an analytical mind, a mind that can process thoughts, a mind, someone that can communicate very well, someone that can take data-driven decisions and all that. That is what you need to focus on. So a lot of organizations even have training schools where they have to bring people and they have to retrain them. So when it comes to elevating your game, you need to understand that the world has gone beyond what it is now. Let me see if I have some few things to still share, and we take it from there. I'm wrapping up now. Let me quickly ask this question: when it comes to elevating your game and taking it, as a term, pertaining to making global relevance, you need to ask yourself, Who are you when you are stripped bare of all support, trappings, and titles? If they were to drop you on an island, you don't have your iPad, you don't have your phones, you don't have anything, and they say, we'll come pick you in 6 months. What survival skills do you have that will make you survive? Can you talk well? Are you persuasive? What are those skills? So so hold that thought. Another thought is this: if you were to define yourself using 3 elements of nature, what would it be? If you were to define yourself using 3 elements of nature, for example, one of the elements that I define myself with is I see myself as the sun. What does the sun do? Sun brings warmth, sun brings light, the sun brings illumination. So for a lot of people, what is happening now is light is shining into those dark parts that you never considered before. That is what the sun does. Let me ask this question again. If you were to define yourself in just 3 simple keywords, what would it be? So there's a hint there. I said this should be tied to the value you solve in the world and the promise of your personal brand. A lot of people talk about personal brand, blah, 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 blah. Your personal brand is tied to your promise to the world, which you're saying, if you have an experience with Oyindamola Johnson, if you come in contact with Oyindamola Johnson, these are the things that would happen to you. I'll fire you up, give you information, and I'm not just going to, I'm not the inspired to require to acquire to perspire, whatever it is. It's about giving you information that you need to thrive and function effectively, like I said, at the intersection of passion, purpose, impact, and profit. This has never changed all through the years. It has remained consistent. Like I said again, what problems have you identified and how are you responding to it? So a lot of people, so in terms of wrapping up, let me say this: the world doesn't owe you jack. The world doesn't owe you jack. That because you've gone to university, you've come out, you've done your NYSC, blah, 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 the world doesn't owe you jack. So you need to ask yourself, what is my value add? Right? What is my value? So I have something here, the power of vision, networking, evaluate, blah, 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 blah. So we're at the end, and so Her Excellency says, I've not finished with connecting the dots. Okay, so this session is not meant to give you breakfast, lunch, dinner, and everything. It's meant to fire you up. It's meant to make you see things, and it's meant to give you some actionable steps on the next things that you need to do moving forward. So I'm getting to the last aspect of my session today, and I just want to look through. So a lot of people have asked where you can get this book from, Elevate Your Game. So it's on Amazon. You can get it via Amazon, and very soon I'm going to make it available. It's going to be available it was available for sale when I was still in Nigeria. I'm not in Nigeria at the moment, but I'm making plans for it to be available very soon. So those who need information, my email is contact@oyindamolajohnson.com. contact@oyindamolajohnson.com. You can send me an email. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can send a message. You can send a Twitter DM. I would respond, and I can give you information on where you can get the book from. So what are the chapters here? Clarifying your vision, above 35, what next? Because a lot of times all these opportunities, by the time you're 35, you cannot access them anymore. So I'm over 35. So how have I been able to thrive post 35, right? I need to talk about that. So this answers your question. The perfect fourth, which is intersection of passion, purpose, impact, and profit. I talked about it in depth. Personal brand, the art of perception building. So that's a chapter. mentoring, maximizing fellowship opportunities, preparing for fellowships, preparing for international conferences, activating your power network. So let me talk about activating your power network, and we'll wrap up with this, and I can take a few questions. So there are different types of network. There's your power network and there's your support network. Your support network, these are people within your network where you're like, man, man, things are happening. Like, I've not eaten since yesterday. Hey, guy, how far? Which you get? Which have you chop? Like, what do you have? And all that. The guy is like, hey, your own is good. You've not eaten since yesterday. My own is since last week. Oh. So if your own is yesterday, it meant you still ate day before yesterday. My own is since last week. Everybody looks at each other, rubs each other's face, hugs each other, and everybody goes back to where they're coming from. Nobody can help each other. You cannot advance, you cannot grow, you cannot elevate your game beyond the quality of the network that you keep. Do you know that there are some opportunities? Great job to all this, to the websites that are providing us with opportunities to apply for. But the truth is, do you know how many opportunities are there that are never announced? Do you know how many opportunities that are out there that only revolves in circles, that only revolves in networks? For example, in terms of elevating my game and thinking about the next level, I'm thinking about, okay, so what is this course that I'm meant to attend? What is this thing that I'm meant to do? And I figured out a course that I'm meant to write. The cost is close to $2,000, which I'm going to apply for. And I found out that a program that I was part of in the United States, this is a different program, not the fellowship I went for, but a different program had an allocation of $1,000 for everybody that was part of that program for professional development. The money was there for like 2 years. I never knew until now that I knew. And I said, can I channel this towards my course? They said, we'll be glad to. Just give us the information. That is how half of the money, the problem solved. This is because I was part of a network. Did they come outside to announce and say, hey guys, there's $1,000 available for professional development? Mind you, for the program itself, they had spent close to $6,000 to $7,000 per person for that program, and they set aside $1,000 again to say, if you have extra training needs, we can provide this so that you can better improve yourself. And I was able to access that because of the network that I am part of. So some of us need to, as we're moving into this new phase, I don't want to say next year, because if I say next year, it ties it to January 1st. But I don't want to say next year. I'm taking it from the point of this new phase. For some people, for some of us, this new phase starts from now. This new phase, this new season, this new level starts from now. You need to be very conscious and deliberate about the network, the quality of your network. The quality of your network, because the truth is, even in terms of looking for jobs, people talk about, I can't get jobs. Do you know how many jobs are out there? But it is based on referrals. The organization that I'm in now, there was no vacancy when I got into the organization. There are several organizations out there, they will not put a vacancy on their website, because hiring takes time, hiring takes effort, and all that, and nobody's ready to go through that sometimes. So sometimes the power of referral, and that is why you should be very conscious about how you loan your brand. For example, the kind of things that your brand is attached to, the kind of things that your person is attached to. The truth is, some people turn down your request for them to speak on your platforms just because there's no fit. It doesn't align. So rather than get upset and say this person is feeling too big and all that, you elevate your game. There were people that spoke at Elevate Your Game version 2 that at version 1, I had not built capacity to invite them. So what did I do? I kept working on myself. There were some people I invited for version 3 that by version 2, I had not developed myself, I had not built up myself enough to invite them. So what did I do? I kept improving on myself. There were some people I invited, the quality and the caliber of people that I invited for version 4 that we had this year. By year 1, if I had called them, they would never have answered. But I was building something from year 1, from year 2, from year 3, from year 4. And by year 4, the quality of the people that I invited for year 4 far outshined, outweighed anything else that I had done before. And by now, if I want to do Elevate Your Game version 5, let's say next year, definitely the quality and the caliber, and that is how it just keeps getting better and better and keeps getting, it keeps improving. I've said a lot of things today. Perform your SWOT analysis. Clarity is a journey, not a destination. Capacity trumps titles. And understand that for whatever level that you are in now, there is always the next stage. Elevate your game. Thank you so much. I hope this session has been engaging and interesting. If you want to learn more about me, just go to my website, www.oyindamolajohnson.com, and you get all the information you need there. Over to you, Ijoma, and thank you for
Oh,
inviting me.
thank you so much. Okay. So can you hear me clearly now?
I can hear you.
Perfect. So, guys, if you got value from Oyindamola's session, just like I did, you know how we do it, right? So, leave a comment with the best emoji of yours in the comment section. Let's see. Thank you so much, Oyindamola Johnson. You gave so much value in just less than 1 hour. And of course, my audience and our audience got value from this session. Thank you so much for sharing value on how to elevate your game for career success. Thank you so much. So, guys, if you got value from this session, please leave a comment in the comment section. Okay,
Merci beaucoup. So
yeah.
someone is saying, can you get the book as an ebook? Man, I fear Nigerians. So like one person gets it, the whole country has it. So
Everybody has it.
no ebook, hard copies.
Yeah. So thank you so much. Are there questions? Since there are questions, also leave your questions in the comment section. I'm not seeing any comment, guys. Okay, yes, I can see them. Let me show it up on the screen. Yeah, our guest was so amazing today. He did amazingly well today. Thank you so much. Please, if there are questions, leave your questions in the comment section. I'll be going
Jennifer
to.
said there was fire. So, okay, so maybe I should send the fire department with
Exactly, exactly. There was so much knowledge and so much fire. Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
so much for
sharing.
inviting me, and great job, Ijoma. I think this is the first time that we'll be interacting.
Oh,
We
yes.
connected on Facebook.
Yeah.
Um, we've never spoken before. I've never seen you before, aside your pictures and all that. But well done. Uh, I know that you understand that initially I wasn't meant to be here. Some things happened, and some things also happened again. And I'm glad
Yeah.
to be here. I'm glad I accepted the invitation, and thank you so much. Great job on what you're doing. We see you. We appreciate what you're doing, and I wish you all the very best.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation and, of course, for sharing so much value at the Young and More Africa Convention 2020. This is just day 2, and the feedback has been so amazing. Thank you so much, and thanks to everybody who is live. I'll talk to you right behind the stage. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, guys, you can really see that this convention came with so much value that we really cannot exhaust in a day, even in an hour. So, you know how to connect with our speakers. Of course, I'll be dropping Twitter handle for Damola Johnson, so you can always follow him on Twitter at Damola Johnson, and of course, you can send him a message on Facebook at Oyindamola Johnson. And of course, again, you can also check out his website just like he advised at oyindamolajohnson.com. Yeah. So if you really got value from this session, let me just tell you a bit. You have not seen anything yet. Our next speaker is going to be coming on board or at 6 p.m. So if you are really here, we're going to be taking a break, and at 6 p.m. dot, we'll be coming live. Do not leave. You'll just get some water, take some meal. If there is anything, stretch your body, check your data, and of course, check everything and be sure that you are ready for the next session. You know, we are going to be ending tomorrow, but today is already hot. So if you are going off, please do not go far away. We are going to be calling this a cut for right now, and we'll be waiting on for our next session. Thanks to everybody, and I'll be seeing you right at the next session starting at 6 p.m. Okay? All right.